I was stunned to find out that all of these top 1% authors that you see on the market, these books, like the books that they have written, it they are not written by themselves. If you wanna build your authority, then you have to become an author, because in authority word itself, there's an author.
Vikrant Shaurya is the founder and CEO of Bestsellingbook.com. He has transformed his life by writing his own best-selling book, dedicating his time to helping entrepreneurs, coaches, and thought leaders in producing their own best-selling book to generate high-quality leads, attract high-value clients, skyrocket their authority, and truly build their personal brand. I know a lot of you guys have thoughts of writing a book. You've written a book in the past. You're asking, how can I market this? Where do I begin? The thought of writing a book can seem like a grandiose idea. And maybe you even see people who've written books and you think to yourself, man, I could never do that. Well, the good news is you can. And our guest, Vikrant, is going to show you exactly where to begin and even how to write your book in less than 30 days. You know the fee for the show. We're not going to show you an ad. We're not going to have a sponsor. We do that because we don't want to interrupt your experience, and we just want to bring you the juice, which is how to write your best-selling book. So if you take anything away from this conversation with Vikrant, please share this show with just one other person who could use it as well. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, all the way from India, Mr. Vikrant Shaurya. Great to have you here, brother.
Hey, Brendan, thank you so much for having me here. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It's a pleasure to have you. A lot of people want to know what you're talking about. So why don't we begin with your story? Maybe you can give us a few minutes on what's the best-selling book that you wrote, why did you write it, and how did it transform your life, writing your own book?
hmm Yeah, for me, actually, my own book didn't even change my professional life. It also helped me improve my personal life as well. Uh, I, I don't think I have shared this on any podcast, but um, so talking about the personal life, so I was like, I knew my girlfriend since I was 14, right? Like we were in the same class, and I wanted to marry her. But
Uh,
my my girlfriend's parents were not getting agreed because, of course, I wasn't doing good in my life in terms of financially. Like I wasn't settled. I was a college dropout, and they were not. They really don't want anyone to marry their daughter, like who's just not financially settled. So, then I, of course, discovered self-publishing. I started writing and publishing books, and I wrote my first book and published that book like under my own name. Before that, I was publishing it under my pen names. And then my girlfriend somehow convinced her father to come to my home, visit my home, and meet me. He came, and I intentionally I just kept the book directly on the table where we were just talking, and he saw my name over there, and like he just picked the book, and he asked me like, is it your book? So I said, yeah, it's my book. And he started reading a few pages, and he didn't say anything about the book afterwards, but I knew that I've almost won the game.
wow.
And then of course he gave me blessings, and in just 1.5 years, like we got married. So so my book didn't even change my professional life, and it also helped me transform my personal life, and it helped me actually marry the dream girl that I wanted to marry. So also in terms of the in terms of the professional life, um, I wrote the book in such a way, the second book especially, the how to write a bestseller, so that we can actually break down the entire steps of the process of how to write a good book, and then how to package it, how to publish it, how to market it and make it number one bestseller. It is still generating at least 15 to 20 qualified leads directly from the book, like people actually signing up um, for the book completely for free. Like it is just on the Amazon, and then they're just downloading the book, the free
Cool.
materials from there. So and then of course we are converting a lot of people as a client in the back end from the book. And this is what we are doing for our clients as well. We are not only helping them write a book, we are actually trying to create a money making software or kind of a mechanism that is working for them. That is like with the book, they're not just running out of the client. The clients are actually finding them. They are trying to somehow find the author's details, and then they are reaching out to them. They really want to work with the author because they see that with the book, the client or our clients have actually established their authority on the topic, and it definitely stands them apart from the competition. So yeah,
Yes.
this is what I've done for myself, and also we've helped a lot of people with our services as well.
Nothing sets you apart from the competition like a book does, and having your name on the title of that book that says how to do this. Or like in 2019, I wrote my book, Be Extraordinary, Your Guide to Self Mastery. And let me tell you, my clients, they don't ask me if I have a college degree, right? It can come up in
Yeah.
conversation, of course, but they know that I have a book, right? They know that
Yeah.
I've put my thoughts and expertise into a book. Even if people haven't read the book, just the knowingness that you have one sets you apart as an authority on that topic. Now, this isn't just saying, if you're not an expert, put your name on a book and then boom, you're an expert. Obviously, be an expert before you put the
Yeah.
book together. But that idea of what an expert is, some people might think that you need to be the best in the world at something in order to put
Mhm.
your ideas into a book. But really, you only need to be one step ahead of the person that you're
Mhm.
looking to make a positive difference for. But not even that, man. I love that story of you getting your girlfriend's father's blessing because you strategically and beautifully put your book on that table where you knew he would see it. And he was like, an author in the family. He's like, I can do that. Right. That
Yeah.
is what an awesome story. So for those listening, a book can, yes, help you build your business, attract high quality money making clients, but it can also get you the blessing of the father and the mother, whoever you're looking to seek the blessing of. But let me ask you this, Vikrant, before I ask you more about your story. There's a lot of people listening right now who do own their own business. They are an expert in a specific area, but also there's a lot of people who are building their personal brand inside of a company. So they're working inside of an organization in a leadership role. Is there benefits to those individuals who might be thinking, is this conversation really for me if I'm not a business owner?
Mhm. Yeah, like what I see is I've personally seen that there's a lot of things that you can do to build your personal brand. You can have a massive followers on Instagram. You can have a really good YouTube channel. You can have a podcast as well. And book also becomes a really great medium for you to set up, like put your foot forward in the game and tell the world that, hey, like I've written a book on this topic, and then people start seeing you as an authority. And a few years ago, Brian Tracy said this, that if you want to build your authority, then you have to become an author, because in authority word itself, there's an author. So somehow people see you differently. I remember that when I published my first few books, and then I was, I think, 23, 24 something. And I was very hesitant because I was working with some of our clients, like who were like millionaires and CEOs, like 50 plus in age. And I was just here, 23, 24-year old, but still they were trusting me. They Otherwise it takes a lot of time to build a trust, but they have read my book. They know that like this guy knows something different from me. Like he knows like how to go from point A to point B, and they're still stuck on point A. They have some struggles, they have some problems. So if you can show to the world or to your audience that like you can take them from point A to point B, whether from a YouTube channel, whether from the podcast, whether from the book, it definitely helps you build a brand, whether you are in the business or you are about to start a business, or you just want to build your brand. Whatever the goal is, it can really help you out with that.
That's great. Let me ask you, were you always a writer growing up? Were you somebody who knew you were going to write a book or you wanted to write a book? Was writing already in your DNA before you wrote a book?
I actually hate writing. I still hate writing. And when I started my second company, in the first employee that I hired, he was a writer because I didn't want to do that job.
Mm.
And before that, like 5, 10 years ago, like there was no chat GPT, so I had to write all of those things myself. But um, it was kind of an accidental, like what happened was, like, I dropped out of college because I wanted to start my business. It failed miserably. Like in just 6 months, I had lost all the money, and I had no money to pay my bills and electricity bills and all of those things. And then I was stuck in a one single room apartment with a 2G internet speed and a broken laptop. I was
Mm.
searching online how to make money online, and I discovered self-publishing. I had no option actually. Like, I just had to write the book just because I had to pay the bill. Uh, like, English is not my first language, and I used to get the least grades in my English subject in my high school. So, but I just had to complete the book. So I wrote my first book in 21 days, and people still say like, "Hey, 21 days,"
Wow.
but um, I was just writing and writing. Like I my only strength was, and it's still in my is my strength, that I was good at doing some research and making complex things easier in the form of a book. Right? Somehow I
Mm.
discovered it, um, and this what has actually helped me build this business as well. Like, we are helping our clients actually do that. They have a lot of ideas, and now, but how to actually take all of those ideas and write it into a really good book. So I was kind of an accidental author in the first place. I wrote the first book in 21 days, but my girlfriend back then, like, who is my wife right now, she helped me fix all the grammar mistake. Like, she did the proofreading thing, and then I published that book. The second book, it was a very small book. It was, I think, 50, 60 pages book. I wrote that in just three days, 3, 4
Mm.
days. Again, I had no option. Like, I had to pay my bills, and I started seeing some revenue from the book sales. The first month I made around $27. The second month I did some marketing and made around $450. I was
Wow.
able to pay my rents, my electricity, and all the due. So and then, of course, then the great graph actually started growing. But uh, for me, I'm still not a good writer, and I think this is the only reason I was able to build this company, due to which, like, we are able to help those clients who um, are maybe either don't have the time or don't have the skill set to write a book. We actually have created a system so that a ghostwriter can interview them and write the book for them in their voice, and then we can design it, publish it, we can market it, we can make it a bestseller. So if you see it, like, actually I have created this company or this system for people like me.
Hmm.
Either they don't have the time or don't have the skill set to write a good book. Um, so yeah, this is exactly how I actually became an author. It was kind of an accident.
That's amazing, man. So I just want to point out what you just said because I think that's really powerful. If you're someone who likes writing, or if you're me, I was indifferent when it came to writing. It's not that I was excited to jump onto the computer, and I also wasn't like afraid to jump onto the computer and type.
Mm.
And I was able to put my book together in probably a lot more time than I needed. I took about 3 months to put my first book together, and it's about 100 pages, right? So I could certainly have done it in less time, but I was also putting it into my days where I was working a full-time job and I was building my business on the side as well. The next book for me is definitely going to be a longer book. It's going to be a more in-depth book, and I would love to talk with you about what it looks like to write a book in 30 days or less. Now, the thing I wanted to point out from what you said is if you're not a writer, you can work with someone in a team like yours who can have a ghostwriter put your book together in your own voice. So, for those listening, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Vikrant, you're the expert. A ghostwriter is someone who, like, let's say I was to ghostwrite a book for you. I would learn about you. I would ask you great questions. I would find out what I can about the topic through you. And then I would put a book together for you, but your name is the name on the book. People grabbing that book off the shelf would have no idea that me, a ghostwriter, put that book together. Is that true?
You said like 100% correct. And when I was about to start this business, like actually a lot of people start reaching out to me saying that, hey, can you help me write the book? We don't have the time or and the skill set. And I was in the process of doing the research whether the market is big or not. And I was stunned to find out that all of these top 1% authors that you see in the market, these books, like the books that they have written, it they are not written by themselves. They all of them are ghostwritten. Most of them are ghostwritten, like including Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, The Seven Highly Effective Habits of Successful People by Stephen Covey, even Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson. All of these books and all the top 1% authors' books, they are ghostwritten because these people know the value of their time. They are good at certain things and they want to stick with it. They don't want to waste another few months to discover how to write a good book because it can um, maybe they would not be able to figure it out. Maybe you are good at writing blog or article, but writing a book is a completely different skill set. So and these people, like these successful people, know that, and that's why they hire ghostwriters who can understand them, who can ask them intelligent questions, and can write the book for them in their authentic voice with their unique personality. And this is what we are doing over here. And we have made a lot of um, upgrades to the ghostwriting system or the process. And that's why we call our ghostwriting system an angel writing system.
Mm.
Um, we have a proper, we have a different systems and um, proper training for the ghostwriters so that they can become angel writers. Basically, our goal as an with this angel writing system is to really capture the voice of the client. And usually, like in 70-80% cases I've seen that with ghostwriting system, it they are not able to achieve it. Like they get their voice is not there. People like who read the book, they don't see that, hey, like, is this person really have they written it? So but with our system, like our number one goal is to that their voice should be there in the voice. Their personality should be reflecting in the book itself. So that's the difference.
I had no idea that those books were ghostwritten. That blew my mind. So, Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson, for those who haven't read that, there's also a second version of it. That's an autobiography, yet it was ghostwritten. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, one of the greatest financial books of all time, was ghostwritten. I had no idea. Seven Highly Effective Habits of, I
Successful
butchered
people.
the
Yeah.
title, but yes, the Stephen Covey book, ghostwritten. I've read all three of those books. That blows my mind. And it makes sense, though, because people like Donald Trump, he didn't
Yeah.
write his book or his
No, no.
books, I should say. He's written many. He had other people write them because why would they spend their time to write the book when they
Mm,
could be earning millions and billions of dollars in their
mm,
businesses, right? But some people love to write, and they won't take that
mm.
from me. If you want to write your book, we're going to definitely talk about ways to do that. But if you're
Yeah.
someone who is busy in their business and you want a tool to share your message and your expertise, then ghostwriting would be a great thing for you. I want to ask you, because a lot of people are unaware of the difference between the idea of self-publishing and
Mm,
traditional publishing. They think of writing a book and they think they've got to go and pitch different publishers in New York City or California or wherever these big publishers are. And let me tell you guys, that's not the case, right? You can self-publish your book on Amazon. So I want to ask you the difference with that. But I think it's important to inject in here one more time that even if you're not a business owner, even if you're just someone who has lived a different and unique life. Maybe
yeah.
you've overcome a challenge in your life. Maybe you went through trauma and you were able to overcome it and build an incredible career for yourself, or you were able to solve a big problem for one person and then another person, and you have a system that can make a positive difference in the world. Then writing a book, I believe, is a duty of yours. I believe everyone listening who has a unique story, and if you're listening to this, I guarantee you have a very unique story. I I challenge you to write a book because we need more positivity in the world, right? And not just sharing your message, but building your own brand so that you can reach and help more people. I believe anyone with a message to share should write a book. Do you agree with that, Vikrant?
I agree with it 100%. And I've also experienced it with some of our clients as well. I'm going to share two real life stories of our clients. So there's this lady named Meredith. Um, her daughter, like she was a single mom, and her daughter went on a, I think, a road trip or something. But due to some accident, she got crushed by a boulder, and her entire face, entire body was kind of paralyzed. Doctor said that she won't be able to survive. Um, Somehow she survived, and how she, this mom took care of this daughter, and this entire journey, like exactly how it was, like very painful, emotional, and um, she worked with us, and of course, wrote the entire book, like exactly how was the experience and everything. She published that book. Uh, it was not her intention, but she got invited to so many speaking stages. Right now, she's an international speaker, a motivational speaker, making really, really good money. She left her job and now she's just full time doing the speaking thing.
Hmm.
It was not her intention, by the way, but she has helped thousands and thousands of people just because she shared her story, like how she overcome that situation that she was going through. There's so many people like who are going through the similar situations. There's one more lady we worked with. I don't forget her. I just forget her name, but
That's
basically
fine.
her boyfriend died. I think he suicided, and she was in a trauma for I think more than 2.5 years. And then exactly what she did to came out of the trauma and then started doing the job, and now she's completely out of it. Like she wrote the entire book on the journey,
Wow.
and again the same kind of a similar story. There are thousands and thousands of people, if not millions of people, like who are going through these traumas, depressions, um, and these kind of books are really, really helping make this world a better place. And we don't see it, but those people like who are actually reading it, like it works like kind of a healing process for them. It gives them a sense of hope in the direction that like what they can do in their life, not in their life, also in the business. So yeah, like I completely agree with you. Whether you are a businessman or an entrepreneur, a speaker, a coach, or if you're not, but still, if you have done something in your life that is worth sharing, you should definitely write a book and share it with the world.
Those are beautiful stories. We have no idea who we might be reaching when we take our story and we put it into a book that someone that you never have met or ever even knew that the
Yeah,
book would reaches them and makes a difference in their life. So
yeah.
it's a ripple effect. You never know where
Mm,
it's going to lead, and you never know who reads the book where it changes their life and they go on to change the lives of even more people after they read
yeah,
it. And I know one of the greatest barriers of entry that people believe there is when it comes to releasing a book is the idea of publishing the book.
yeah.
They
Mhm.
think they've got to go through these major publishers, but that's not the case. Can you let maybe those people who are listening now know the difference between self publishing and traditional publishing and how they can go about it?
First of all, I think we should go in the mind of the reader, right? Ex- Whether they are looking for traditionally published books or a self-published book. Now, for example, if I'm the reader and if I'm going in a bookstore searching for maybe a self-help book or a non-fiction book, usually I think most of these people like who are the reader who are wanting to buy a book in a bookstore, they usually don't pick up the book and check exactly who is the publisher and then buy the book. They never do that. What they do is they simply check the book cover, maybe the back cover, and read a few pages and maybe see some table of content. And if it resonates with them, they buy the book. If it doesn't resonate, they keep it. They never check who is the publisher. So it really doesn't matter whether you're a self-published author or a traditionally published author. So that should never be your ob- objection or a roadblock that, hey, like I'm just going to be writing a book if a traditionally published company is going to approach me or they can publish my book. Now it has completely, like self-publishing has completely revolutionized the publishing process. Why? Because with traditionally published, there are so many major setbacks, and most of the people don't know that until they go through it. And there are so many authors we have worked with, like who have published their books the first time, like with traditionally publishers, and then they really don't want to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like, for example, let me tell you a few difference between traditionally published publishing and the self-publishing. So, if you go with traditional published publishing process, then you have to first of all write the book. Of course, with self-publishing as well, you can write the book, but um, they can, like traditionally traditional publishing company, like they can help you with the editing, the designing, publishing, and distribution. But there's a big myth around this, that people think that these companies or these publishing companies are going to also help me with the marketing. They
Mm.
never do that. They never ever do that. Like, they ask you to promote the book, and usually they want to work with those authors who have a massive list or subscribers or followers, so that they can leverage your audience and make money out of it. They're gonna take 50%, 60%, 80, sometimes I've seen 90, 95% royalties as well from the book.
Mm.
And you are getting very minute little um, very very small percentage of the book's royalties. At the same time, you lose the 100% creative controls. In most cases, 99% cases, you don't have any creative control. You have no ownership of the book. For example, once you publish the book and your readers maybe suggest that, hey, you should also write about this, or and then you realize, okay, I should write maybe one more chapter and add it. With this process, with this traditionally published publishing companies, it can take years and years to add that chapter, or they might just simply deny it, like, no, we are not going to be changing it. Or if you want to change the book cover, maybe they will not allow it. uh, Even if with the marketing as well, like you have to ask for permission, like, hey, can we do this, can we do that? And most of the time they say no, you can't do it. And so that's the thing. um, but with self-publishing, if you want to make any changes, for example, if you want to redo the book cover, if you have the new book cover, within 24 hours, your new book cover is going to be live. That's the
Mm-hmm.
power of self-publishing. You own the creative control, you own the ownership. If you want to make any changes to the uh, to the to the actual book itself, you can do that with self-publishing. This is not possible with traditional publishing. The only benefit that I see with traditionally published books are they can become New York Times bestsellers. That's the only benefit I see. With self-published books, you can become Amazon bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller, US Today bestsellers. But in most cases, in 99.9% cases, usually New York Times bestseller or editors simply picks traditionally published books. There are so many politics going on behind
Oh yeah.
behind. I'm not going to go into that, but basically, these publishing companies, they actually uh, take these New York Times editors on trips, and they buy something for them. These
Mm-hmm.
kind of things actually happens in the back end. That's why usually they recommend, hey, you must check this author out. So, but with so yeah, these are some of the difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing. I usually recommend our clients to go with self-publishing. Why? Because most of these people that we work with, they are businessmen and entrepreneurs, speakers, coaches, consultants, and usually they want to use their book to generate more clients or establish their authority, generate more leads. And I recommend to have some sort of free giveaway inside the book, so that people can actually add their email address in exchange of that, and you can start building the list as well. In
Yes.
most cases with traditionally published books, it's not possible. So yeah, these are some of the um, pros and cons of both of these different worlds.
Great advice. Just a lot there that you just unpacked. That's really important for people to even rewind and listen to the last 4 minutes, because that is spot on. And self publishing is better in the sense that your book can be in the hands of people within a month's time, like
Yeah.
very, very quickly. With traditional publishing, it's going to take a lot more time to do that. Like you said, you've got to have the name, you've got to have the audience. So maybe your third book, or maybe, your second, if your first one really takes off, that can be a traditional publishing book. However, I'm generally, I don't want to say always because who knows how life can change, but self-publishing with the ease of access and the low barrier of entry, that's the direction that I'd recommend going. And also, the traditional publisher provide you with, like what you mentioned, they provide you with the graphics work and the editing and the formatting and all those things. But we, as everyday people, can go on websites such as upwork.com or fiverr.com. And, there's a lot of people on there who might not do the greatest job, but you can filter by, the people who are most purchased, the gigs that are the highest rated. And if you haven't heard of those sites, by the way, go check them out, especially if you are in the process of writing your book. And I'm sure your team, Vikrant, can help guide people through all this on their own as well if they decide to work with you. But I had my book edited on Fiverr. It was a couple $100 for it. Actually, I think it was a little bit more than that. Then I had the graphic art created. That was a couple $100. I had the formatting done. That was a couple $100. So expense wise for me to write on my own, get all the extra things done, it was roughly probably around $1,000, maybe a little bit more to get my book put together physically front to back. Right. But again, that was me doing everything on my own at the same time. Would I pay more to have someone else do it for me so I can save that time? Absolutely. I know not everyone's in that financial situation. I wasn't at that time, but I would be now. So for those thinking, how do I go about this? There's always a way to go about it. I would like to speak with you in the final time that we have here. I would like, if you will, to give us a breakdown on how it's possible to put a book together. And in your case, in 21 days, but how can a person go from picking a title to outlining the book to doing the writing to all these different things in the course of 30 days? What does that look like?
um when whenever whenever I used to go on these podcasts like 4 or 5 months ago, and when people used to ask me this question, uh, the answer used to be something different. But after ChatGPT, everything has changed. So I'm going to give you both of these answers.
Okay.
If you're going to go with the traditional way of writing the book yourself, it can take maybe 1, 2, 3 months, depending on how much time you are giving. Like when I used to write my first book, I used to give like 14 to 16 hours in just writing every single day. I had no option. Um, but now with Chat GPT, it has completely changed the game. You can easily write an entire book in less than 7 days. Of course, that book is going to be not a good book, but you can definitely make some changes. What I've personally seen that most of the people, they struggle. I've seen writer's block, right? And I've seen that writer's block is real. It happens with seasoned writers as well. And but with ChatGPT, it can really break or demolish all of the writer's blocks you have. So let me lay out the steps that are involved in writing a really good book. The first step is you must understand these four elements. And I call it the outline quadrant. So in this outline quadrant, there are four elements. The first is the book idea, right? Of course, you have the book idea. The second is why you want to write a book, because this is going to define the entire structure of the book, right?
Mhm.
For an example, if your goal is to generate leads, then you would be writing the book in another way. If your goal is to maybe build your brand, then you're going to write the book in another way. um, the third is the readers, because you need to understand that you are not writing the book for yourself. You are writing it for an end reader who is still on point A, wanted to go to point B. So you have to keep the reader in your mind, and for that, you also have to do some research on the reader. Means what kind of pain they are experiencing, what kind of struggle they're having if they haven't read your book yet, what kind of things they will be achieving, what they would be doing just after reading the book. All of these things you must understand it. And you can join a lot of Facebook groups like on your relevant readers and target audience to ask the questions. You can post in, and I've done it myself. Like once you post it like in a really good active group, you can um, you can get hundreds and hundreds of comments, right, directly from your actual target audience. So
Yeah.
you can do some market research on that. So idea, why readers, and the fourth element is hook, or angle, like how your book is going to be different from all the other books on the same topic. There could be hundreds, if not thousands, of books on the same topic. Why your book? So what
That's
you
a
can
great
do,
question.
yeah, the easiest way I've seen to stand your book apart from the other books is list down like top 50 books on your topic. Like go on Amazon, find out, for example, if you're writing a book about leadership, go on leadership category on Amazon, find out top 50 books, check out all the reviews,
Mm,
and go for usually 3 to 4 star reviews. Don't go for 5 star or 1 or 2 stars. These 3 or 4 star reviews actually, if you're going to go through it, they're going to tell you like exactly what is good inside the book and what is bad inside the book and what is missing in the book. And
wow.
those, you can add those missing elements in the book, and that can be the hook of your book. Like this is how you can actually distinguish your book from the other books on the topic. And these, why I said only top 50 books, because these books are selling. People are actually buying those books actively. So you want to just copy exactly what is succeeding in the Amazon's marketplace, and actually you can take it and rewrite. I'm not saying, I don't want to say rewrite, but basically take some ideas, inspiration, and then actually use your expertise, your experience, and your story, and write the entire book accordingly. So
Mm,
these 4 elements combined, you should have it. Like the book outline quadrant is then going to help you create the book outline.
yes.
So uh, nowadays, what you can do is, once you have these 4 elements, you can simply go to Chat GPT, right? And if people don't know exactly what Chat GPT is, it is kind of an AI software that can produce content based on your prompt. You simply can provide, hey, just tell me exactly, for example, build a grocery list for me if I want to lose 10 pounds in 1 month and I'm a
Hmm.
vegan. It can actually provide that. This is how ChatGPT is very, very powerful nowadays.
Oh yeah.
And so you can go over there and you can feed these 4 elements information over there. Like I'm writing a book about, I'm writing a leadership book. I'm writing it because I want to get speaking gigs. And then I'm writing it for this type of readers, right? And they're experiencing these kind of pain.
Wow.
And and these are things that I want to include, and these are things that I don't want to include in the book, which is the hook part. Just,
Yes.
and based on this, can you please create a book outline for me?
Whoa.
And then Chat GPT is going to create the book outline for you. um, and if you're not happy, just simply retry it, and then it can give you some more variations.
Yeah.
You might not like the outline, you might like the outline, but based on that, like, just because it is a chat, you can add, hey, I don't like chapter number 3, can you please replace it with this topic, like
Hmm.
based on your expertise. And it can actually rewrite it, and the outline is going to be so detailed. Like it can tell you like chapter number 1, subchapter 1, subchapter 2, 3, 4, 5, chapter number 2, subchapter 1. So it can provide you the entire outline in just 5 to 10 minutes, right? And this is why people get stuck. Like they don't start with the book outline, and once you have the outline ready, you can again you start using the Chat GPT to go one by one, right? For
Yeah.
example, the subchapter 1, if it is you should have a great vision, or a great culture in the company to have a in the form of leadership. You can just take it and then ask ChatGPT, hey, write 2,500 words on this, which is a subchapter 1 of this book. Can you please write it and also add this information, and please don't include this, and then just simply type it. It can produce the entire thing.
Yes.
Again, I won't recommend people to just simply copy and paste everything. In the first place, I would recommend you just simply take all of those information, put it in the Word document, right? Keep arranging it, and then once the manuscript is done, then you just have to modify it based on
Hmm.
your experience and expertise. So you have the first draft ready just with the help of Chat GPT, and now it's up to you, like how you can make changes to the actual book's manuscript based on your experience and expertise. So it's gonna really, really speed up the entire process. It can 100x the entire writing process, and you can easily write the book in 7 to 10 days. Actually, I
Wow.
created a video, a step-by-step video on how I created an entire book in less than 10 minutes. I did it on my YouTube channel. But of course, it wasn't a good book, but I just demonstrated that how it is possible to write even entire book in just 10 minutes. But if you give it 7 to 10 days, it can write a really, really, really good book. Um, so yeah, this is the process as of now, like which I've seen, which is working really good. Um, just check it out, like give it a try, maybe at least create a book outline. That could be one actionable item for the listeners today. Just go explore ChatGPT, just create your book outline using ChatGPT. That could be one action item for the listeners.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Everything that you just shared, I can't believe you shared it in 10 minutes. Let me tell you, you do have a skill and a gift of taking a very complex idea and making it simple. And you're great at doing that in your books, but you're also great at doing that in the spoken word, especially since English isn't your first language. Like, absolutely fantastic, brother. I'm just very impressed, first and foremost. Let's just recap what you just said here very, very quickly. We've talked about publishing. We talked about who should write a book. We talked about defining whether you should write one or not for your brand, your business. We talked about the structure of the book. Have your idea, know who the reader is. Why are you writing that book? And what's your unique hook and or angle? And you dove into how to discover each of those. We did all of this within 40 minutes. So those listening, you have no reason to not go to chatgpt.com. I think it's openai.com, but just go to google.com, search ChatGPT. The server is always full for the most part, so just keep trying until you get in. But once you're in, you're in. And then you've got that browser open and go play around. A lot of people, I'll just bust a belief I can hear people saying already, this is a very new thing, right? And people are seeing stories and articles about how schools are banning the use of ChatGPT for writing their research papers, which I personally believe that's a very foolish thing to do. I believe they should be supporting the use of ChatGPT, not to complete the project, but as a tool to complete the project. Because you mentioned a video that you just created where you wrote a book in 10 minutes. Obviously, the book is just a conglomeration of 1,000 different people's ideas that ChatGPT took and put together, right? But let me tell you, it's probably better than a lot of books that I've read. You know, it's crazy to say that, but it's probably better. I'm going to put a link in the description, guys, so you can go check out that video so you can see how Vikrant used ChatGPT and on the overall structure, so you can really see in real time how he did what he just explained to you. But there's no reason to not use ChatGPT as a tool to begin the book itself, to begin the outline, and then you can use it to go as deep as you want to. If you're someone who says, I don't want to use this at all when it comes to voicing the chapters, you don't need to. You can go take, a course on how to write it. You can hire Vikrant's team. They'll write it for you. Like, you can use it as much or as little as you'd like, but imagine it creates the outline for you. It creates the overall premise of each chapter. And then rather than you spending 8 to 10 hours a day typing everything, you go through what this program has already created, and then you make it your voice, sentence by sentence. It would take a lot less time. It'd be a lot less stress, especially with the busy lives that I know a lot of you lead. And now you've got a book put together that will surely reach and help people improve their lives or their business in a positive way. So I want to ask you, Vikrant, when people do work with you, how long are you working with them for? I know this is kind of a loaded question, but maybe you have a way of answering this. How long do you work with them for? What does it look like to work with your team for the people who do want you to take it off their hands so they can focus on their business and or their brand?
For us, like we have 100% done for you package. It means if someone comes to us, even with just a rough book idea, we can take that rough book idea and turn it into a #1 best-selling book, whether on Amazon or Wall Street Journal or USA Today, in just less than 6 months. Everything, the entire process from identifying your book idea, your why, the readers, and the hook, and then we match you with a perfect angel writer. We have more than 500 writers in our influence. We'll match you up with a perfect writer who can understand you and write the book in your authentic voice. It usually takes around 3 months to write the book for you. And you are happy. Once you're happy with that, like we also offer unlimited revisions to make sure that you're happy with that. Then we start doing the editing, proofreading, designing, ISBN publishing, distribution, book trailer, video, cover designing, formatting. There are tons and tons of steps involved.
Wow.
And once the publishing distribution is done, then we also take care of the marketing. You start doing the marketing, we get sales, we get you reviews, like we get you at least 15, 16 reviews in the launch period. And then we launch the book, we market it, we make it a number one bestseller, guaranteed. If not, then we have a guarantee offer that in case if the book doesn't become a number one bestseller, we pay you back $100,000. And then once it is that, then of course we also work with you to create a personalized marketing plan on how you can use the book to make an additional $10,000 per month using the book, right? Whether it could be to get clients or get speaking gigs or get generate leads, we can share with you the entire plan, step by step, exactly how you can achieve it with the book. So this entire process takes around 6 months, and it's 100% done for you. All they need to do is come on a call during the writing process with the angel writer, maybe 2 or 3 times in a week, and they just have to answer the question. They don't even have to prepare for it. In case if they already have some materials or some webinars or trainings they have done, they can provide it to the ghostwriter. They can actually transcribe it and then take some information from there, and also ask you questions based on that, and write the book for you. And then the entire process takes us 6 months.
That's incredible. What a process, especially for the person who just wants to hand it off, let you do everything for them, create a best-selling book in 6 months. Like 6 months is going to fly by in general. So for those who that makes sense for, go to Vikrant's website. It's bestsellingbook.com. Bestsellingbook.com. You can't get an easier website than that, right? Link is in the description to go check out Vikrant's website to schedule a call and see if that makes sense for you. And if you are the person who has the time and you want to go through this process on your own, more power to you. That's amazing. You'll improve your skills in the process of writing your own book as well. That will help you in other areas of life. But if you want it done for you, work with Vikrant's team. Vikrant, is there a social media platform that you hang out on more that other people can see, like, and follow your progress and your journey and so on and so forth?
Yeah, usually I'm pretty much active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So if people can simply search Vikrant Shaurya on Google, they can find my LinkedIn. Usually I'm active on LinkedIn. Otherwise, I try to post 1 or 2 videos on YouTube as well. For example, last video I shared, like, which is gonna be about to be published. Most probably when the podcast is gonna be live, it would be published. But like, I've taught exactly how our clients are using their book to generate clients, right? How they can actually use the book to make money, and not only from the book sales, but also use the book as a medium to generate clients. So I've laid down the entire step-by-step process. So yeah, like on YouTube channel as well, like they can actually get some information out of it.
That's amazing. We scraped the surface today, but we more than scraped the surface, but there's so much under the surface that we didn't dive into, where maybe we can have you back on the show in the future to talk about how to market the book, how to generate leads, how to get speaking opportunities, a lot of different areas we could dive into. But I just want to thank you for being open and willing to share a lot of this information that a lot of other people might hold back, so that you make other people work with you, but you gave it to us. And I know that will attract people even more to want to work with you in the future, my friend. So thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for sharing your experience. And thank you for giving your time to be on the show today. Thank you, Vikrant.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brendan, for having me. It was really, really, really great talking to you. I had fun. I really enjoyed talking to you.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. Until next time. You have no reason to not put your book together starting today. ChatGPT, right? Put those 4 different things together. The idea that you have, who is your reader? What are the problems and the struggles that they face? Why do you want to put your book together? Is it to build your influence? Is it to share your personal story? Is it to generate leads for your business? Have your reason why, and then have your hook and your angle. And Vikrant shared how to do that. I won't share it again. You can rewind and go back to the part that makes the most sense for you. but then go on ChatGPT and play around, get that outline done. Use it as much or as little as you would like in the final writing of your book before you take what it writes and put it into your own voice. There's so many tools at your disposal now to create a best-selling book and get it into the hands of people who it will benefit in a positive way. And I hope this conversation will help you to do so. If it did help you, please share this episode with one other person who could use it as well, especially if they are thinking of writing a book or have written a book and they want to write a new one, because you are the best part of the Be Better team, and you are the reason this show has grown the way it has over the last 2 years. All the links are in the description to go check out Vikrant's information as well as his website, bestsellingbook.com. Thank you for tuning in and listening. And until we talk again next time, continue to be better.